On Mountain News this morning, folks in a Pike County community are asking the county to intervene after a decades-old bridge was closed earlier this year. And Attorney General Russell Coleman is calling on Governor Andy Beshear to resume executions in Kentucky.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this October 10th. It's just about 5 o'clock this morning and time for a check of our weather with meteorologist Eric Dean this morning. And Eric, I know on Facebook you keep talking about snow, but we really aren't having that, correct?
No. We are not actually. I'm ready for it. Amelia, I'm sure you're probably ready for it because I know the colder the temperature, the happier you are, but no snow for the next 7 days. Matter of fact, we're going to be seeing temperatures in some places well above normal. Take a look outside right now as of 5 o'clock. We are seeing the typical main contender, Amelia, if you will, the typical main player. A little bit of fog out there this morning. Temperatures right now in the 40s. Visibility, you can see Williamsburg just over a mile in visibility. It says 10 miles in Hazard, but again, you get south of Hazard. It's when it starts to get a little bit dicey. High pressure is in control right now, and it's going to stay in control as we go throughout the next several days. And we'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. But temperatures today, upper 60s, low 70s with wall-to-wall sunshine. I'll have your complete first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes, but right now it is 5 o'clock. We'll toss it back to Amelia.
A federal trial is moving forward against a suspended circuit judge. In an order filed in federal court, preparations continue for the jury trial of Howard Keith Hall. Jury selection is expected to start at 10 o'clock on November 7th in Frankfort. Hall was indicted earlier this year on charges of mail fraud and theft of government funds. In Pulaski County, Somerset fire crews responded to a two-vehicle injury crash on East Limestone Street. Firefighters say they provided patient care, secured the scene, and managed traffic. One patient was taken by Somerset Pulaski County EMS to a hospital helipad, then flown to Lexington for further treatment. A Northern Kentucky sheriff has resigned from his position after he was arrested for driving under the influence for a third time. Terry Gray was arrested on Tuesday after he was cited for driving 110 miles per hour. Gray stepped down following calls to do so from Governor Andy Beshear and others. He had been the Robertson County sheriff since 2021, which is the smallest county in Kentucky by land mass and population. Former Louisville police detective Brett Hankinson is set to report to prison Thursday to start his nearly 3-year sentence. A federal jury found Hankinson guilty of violating Briana Taylor's civil rights when he blindly fired shots into her apartment in March 2020 during a botched police raid. Hankinson is set to serve 2 years and 9 months. There's no parole in the federal system. In Kanawha County, West Virginia, a teenager was found guilty of murder after an incident where a 19-year-old was shot and killed in a tobacco shop. The judge sentenced Barack Williams to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 15 years. Williams was convicted of murdering Caden Martin, who was shot and killed last year in Charleston. Martin's family members spoke directly to Williams in court.
I cry every day. I talk to a grave. I clutch a necklace with Caden's ashes in it. I hold a photo to my chest. I hug a bear made from Caden's shirt. This is all I have left of my grandson.
Williams was tried as an adult in this case. He'll be resentenced in 2027 when he turns 18. A Virginia man was sentenced in the killing of a 2-month-old baby while on his Xbox. LaShawn Quinta Holloway of Virginia Beach was sentenced to 50 years in prison on murder and child abuse charges. According to attorneys, Holloway was taking care of the baby in 2019 when his family heard him, quote, yelling obscenities at the baby over an Xbox headset. The baby died days later after they were taken to the hospital. Wednesday night at 11, we first told you about an 83-year-old man who was killed in a multi-vehicle crash in Pulaski County. Walter McGuire was pronounced dead at the scene of that crash, and that happened around 4 o'clock yesterday, Wednesday, at the intersection of Kentucky 80 and Kentucky 1003 in the Shopville area. Yesterday, Senator Mitch McConnell released a statement about McGuire, who was a retired judge. And here's part of that quote. Walt and I attended law school together at the University of Kentucky, and his impressive judicial career spanning 29 years is a testament to his public service. Walt's friendship meant a lot to me, and I always enjoyed seeing him when I was in Somerset. Elaine and I are thinking of his family and friends during this difficult time. Coleman recently cited a case from 1992 where Powell County Sheriff Stephen Bennett and Deputy Arthur Briscoe were killed in a line-of-duty attack. The one person convicted is still on death row, and some, including a Hazard State Senator, say they're still waiting for justice. Carly Hodgson reports.
But this man killed 2 of our law enforcement agents that were there that day doing the job we hold them accountable to do.
Senator Brandon Smith and other officials are calling for Ralph Bays' death warrant to be signed. Bays was convicted of murdering 2 Powell County enforcement officers over 30 years ago and has been on death row ever since. Governor Beshear says there's an order stating that there are many steps before he could even sign such a warrant. He says even if he could, there are no resources for lethal injection.
Kentucky does not have the drugs to carry out an execution if one was to move forward, and the companies are saying right now that they will not provide them to us or to any other state.
Senator Smith says he's heard a different story.
Trump has made it very clear that he would make these drugs available to states.
And here in Powell County, Judge Executive Eddie Barnes says he was a good friend with the sheriff and the sheriff deputy connected to the case, and he believes the family deserves justice.
I actually worked under Sheriff Steve Bennett as a patrol deputy.
He said after nearly 34 years that the case still impacts people in Powell County daily. Barnes says he wants the sentence to be carried out.
We need to stand up and be an advocate for them, to show them that we haven't forgotten, what happened, and we need to fix the problem. We need to finish it.
In Powell County, Carly Hogston, WKYT.
As of last year, there were 25 inmates on death row in Kentucky, several from eastern Kentucky, and many of the crimes go back decades. There's not been an execution in Kentucky since 2008. Well, this is a story that's gained national attention. Ronald Exantis was released from prison just over a week ago, but he's now back in jail. In Florida, Exantis was convicted in the 2015 Woodford County stabbing death of 6-year-old Logan Tipton and injuring Logan's father and 2 sisters. In 2018, a jury found him guilty but mentally ill for the assaults and not guilty of murder by reason of insanity. Despite a 20-year prison sentence, he was released a decade early due to a Kentucky law and requested to do his mandatory reentry supervision in Florida. Exantis was arrested in Marion County, Florida for failure to register as a convicted felon with the sheriff's office within 48 hours as required by law. He's expected in court tomorrow morning. A scam alert out of Knox County. State police say parents in the area are being targeted by a company called Orlando Criminal, calling families about a child safety kit. They tell parents if they don't buy the kit, their child will not receive an Amber Alert if they go missing. Police say if you receive a call like that, hang up immediately and report it to your local police department. It could take 2 months to fully reopen a Jefferson County road after a massive sinkhole opened. That sinkhole was caused by a collapsed pipe during rainfall on Tuesday. The Public Works Director for Jefferson Town says utility crews have been cutting water lines and putting water gates around the area on Plantside Drive. LG&E has been welding the gas lines to make sure no one has service interruptions. He says getting the road reopened is a top priority.
The industrial park is a golden goose of J-Town. We have a very large park, one of the largest in the nation, and they're interstate commodity in and out. They have to be operational at all times. During snow events, no matter what it is, we got to make sure this park is flowing smoothly.
He says the city has met with 8 contractors who could be in charge of repairing the road. Well, folks in a Pike County community are asking the county to intervene after a decades-old bridge was closed earlier this year, leaving them to rely on a newer bridge that they claim is more dangerous to access. WYMT's Buddy Forbes explains.
After a low-water bridge in the Draffin community was closed indefinitely following the February 2025 flood.
Bridge has been in here since 1973. It's been through flood after flood after flood.
Community members from the 26 homes served by the bridge began asking the county to repair and reopen the structure, saying their current road out, which leads to a newer, larger bridge, is a threat, especially as winter weather makes its way toward the region.
How's school bus gonna get up here? How's school bus gonna get out of here? How are we gonna get out?
So the community gathered, taking their concerns to the Pike County Fiscal Court Tuesday, where Judge Executive Ray Jones said he feels they are being unreasonable, given the scope of the county's damage from the flood and the fact that no FEMA money has been awarded to make repairs.
You all are complaining about not having 2 bridges when we have people in this county that don't have 1. When you have people walking to their house across a footbridge, to come down here and raise this kind of stink when there's people that don't have a bridge is wrong.
Jones said 7 other bridges throughout the county still need to be rebuilt, many of those leaving people with no way in or out. So the county originally removed the Draffin Bridge from the repair list, saying they did not believe FEMA would fund the project, giving its pre-existing issues and its quick connection to the newer Emmeline Lee Bridge.
By having FEMA look at this when there's a new bridge right above it, we think it's going to hurt the county's credibility. But you all wanted it back on there, and it's back on there.
Jones says if approved by FEMA, it will be the next administration that decides how to move forward. But those impacted say the bigger bridge is not better for them.
Well, we're thankful for that bridge, but they don't have to go. They don't travel across the railroad there.
With community members saying the elderly population served by the old bridge has its fears of maneuvering the roads to cross the tracks. Dan Fraley says his mother Vicky got her vehicle stuck on the tracks in 2013 and was quickly struck by the scare of her life.
Hit her on the side and spin her all the way around.
Which he believes has made the rest of the community uneasy.
And, when she did it, nobody wants to cross that bridge like that.
Kay Coleman says the fear of isolation is also an issue, saying maintenance on the railroad tracks recently caused days of disconnect for the people.
Had there been a medical emergency, I guess we'd have flowed them across the river. But if there had been a fire in the community, you see how close these houses are, they would have burnt to the ground. We wouldn't even have to worry about the bridge.
County officials say they would be open to looking at a better solution for the road currently in place to help traverse the tracks. But those in the community say they are not convinced. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Our reporter did contact CSX about the concerns, but its representatives said they do not wish to comment. Well, thanks so much for getting your day started with us on Mountain News this morning at 5:11. Coming up, meet a car enthusiast that has a very impressive collection. That's next in The Good Side.
In the world of weather, all is going to be quiet, not just for today, but throughout the weekend. Details coming up.